What's going on, guys? This is the DeFi Crypto Alliance Show. We're doing our best to be the bridge between our fellow real estate investors and entrepreneurs and cryptocurrency, where we feel like crypto is the biggest opportunity over the next few years in our lives. It's not even close. Welcome. We're pumped to have you guys today. Corey, take it away.
Absolutely. Corey Geary here, and I'm so blessed to be on this journey with all you amazing people where we're going to use crypto as that wealth creation tool and use real estate as the wealth preservation tool and change ours and our families' lives for generations to come, because we are super early with the ecosystem that we are involved in. And obviously today we're a little bit late, guys. Buck has been just running an amazing space this morning. I've been on glued to this space. A lot of great talking points, a lot of stuff that's, tried and true in our ecosystem. And I feel like it's overall bullish, the whole conversation that we're having for the ecosystem, not only in the short term, but in the long term. Short term for third-party protocols and builders to build, which we need. I cannot stress enough, we need these third parties building like crazy, because Ethereum would be worth zero or close to it without all the protocols built on top of it. So let's just put that to bed, period. So the guys out there promoting, do not build and blah, 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 you're taking the money, economic energy away from Pulse X and Hex, is BS. This is a long-term game. We are here not for the short term. If you want some short-term gains, go participate in the third-party protocols. You'll see some short-term gains. I am sure of it. Some will do well, some won't. But make no mistake, we need building, period. And it's the only way we are going to get the adoption we need, that long-term growth. It's the only way we're going to pump our bags, whether it be Pulse X or Hex, or the third-party protocols. We need building now. We need adoption. We need new money. We need retail. We need shiny new toys that people are going to want to play with. Even though you don't like playing with those shiny new toys, I don't care. Shut up. Let them build and create the shiny new toys, because I want my Pulse bag to pump a year from now, 2 years from now, because I have a long-term vision. I have no intention of selling in the short term. So I need this ecosystem to flourish and blossom. And so this is what we need. I love that Buck is spearheading and kind of being the, ambassador, if you will, for the developers, for the guys building. And this is the saving grace right now. So I'm in an absolutely amazing space. I'm super excited. It's got me excited for the future of Pulse Chain. I couldn't be more assured, Dane, that we are in the right place at the right time with the right people. And it's absolutely amazing.
Nailed it, man. Nailed it. What's up, Norbert?
Hey. Hello. You okay, guys?
Yeah, man. Always good seeing your smiling face, man. You always got a positive attitude. And so we appreciate your positivity.
Thank you. Well, you too. You put so much effort into all these things. You could be just, lying on the beach and, getting massage and drinking your cocktails. But yeah, no, I know. But majority of your time, but you still do these things, which is, it's amazing.
Appreciate it, man. The space has been great. If you guys haven't been listening this morning, maybe we start with just like a high-level overview of some of the points that stood out. Let's do that, and then we can talk about some of the more interesting ones. So they started the spaces this morning, and shout out to Buck. I think he's doing a great job, just like Corey said, of talking about the things that Pulse Chain needs in order for it to be successful. And they started by giving some opinion on why Richard is MIA largely, why he's not doing his typical Richard stuff that he used to do earlier on in Hex, and essentially the point that at least Buck, he's of the opinion that that Richard is MIA for the time being, almost like a 4D chess type of move, where it just doesn't make a ton of sense for him to come back until closer to the bull run, and maybe Richard needs a little break, some of that type of stuff. Am I stating that correct, Corey?
Yeah. I think that's kind of hitting the nail on the head for me, man. I don't think he's done by any stretch of the measure of streaming or being like the narcissist that B Roots call him. I was like, Wow, that's extreme, but it makes sense. He got his point across, and he's not done being a winner. You got professional athletes. They go to the game and show up every day and practice every day because they want to win. They want to win the game, and Richard's no different. This is a game for him. Make no mistake. It's a game of money. It's a game of success, and he's not going to quit until he reaches the top. Which that's one reason why we bet so heavy with him, because as an operator and somebody who's in charge of the space, we love to see that. We love to see that in other entrepreneurs. Me and Dane have invested in other, syndications or funds, and we want to see that in the operator, that he has that spirit in him, because that's what's going to make him win. We know our money's, at least less risk averse by investing with him. It's never 100%. But you can offset a lot of risk by investing in those type of profiles, and Richard has that, in my opinion. And so the point was that he's not done. That this is a bit of a 4D chess play. I think, man, it's kind of a mix between like, hey, the SEC stuff is going on. This stuff is garbage. Why do I want to be in the light when all this is like the heat is there in the midst of this bloody bear market? Marketing doesn't do anything anyways, because all we're doing is sideways. It doesn't really do much to bring new money in at this point in time. Doesn't mean that it won't in a year from now, but at this point in time, it doesn't do a lot. And so, it's a cross between that, the SEC, and let the non-believers just get the hell out, because I think RH also knows that, and I'm going to say it, that some of his protocols are a little bit overvalued. And by letting the non-believers wash out, it can maybe get more of a correct valuation established before taking off, to the races. I think it's kind of a mix of all of it, man. He's a smart dude, it's an or Tangent, man. I don't know, did you hear when Tangent came up on stage, Dane?
I heard a little bit. What was he saying?
Tangent's like, or he's passed.
Oh, he's dead.
And the dev team is initiating, everything from this point. And those are pre-recorded videos that were strategically planned. God, I hope it's not that, because, man, I love RH.
Hey, if Richard's dead, DM me. Me and Corey will pay to get an AI-generated version of him to keep it going. We need this thing to keep going.
Well,
we just need to know about it to cover. That's it.
We'll do it to pump our own bags.
Yeah, exactly. Norbert will pitch in. We'll have a sacrifice.
I will chime in on one more thing on that. Is I don't think he's passed, guys. So hopefully, because I do know a guy out in Puerto Rico that does talk to Richard on a regular basis, who's a very avid watch enthusiast. And that's how him and Richard met, is through watches, and they talk once in a while about watches. It's there's a natural, kind of like a niche for that, I guess. If you're the $1 Million Watch Club,
there's not a ton of guys that are in that club. Yeah,
no, it's like being the Lambo Club. How many guys own Lambo? You can join the Lambo Club here locally, and even Corvette Club. We have Corvette clubs here locally. You could join them. They're kind of a niche group. And they're mainly entrepreneurs, and it's really good networking to be in those groups. But it could be, so I don't think that's it, because he's told me he's talked to Richard multiple times since Pulse Streams launched.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I think I love B-Roots came in. He talked about how Richard being having narcissistic tendencies, that he's not willing to tap out and lose. And I think it's a really important characteristic with people that have really strong red personalities. A lot of the time there's some narcissism in there. And I think it's important to be able to identify that. And there's times to bet on it, bet really heavy. And I think that Richard is one of those times, one of those people to bet with, because they hate to lose. And I love putting my money on things with people that hate to lose. And so, I'm very comfortable about my bags and my holdings right now. And we're going to make more money to bring more in. So I think it's good.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Norbert?
Oh, you said quite a few things. Lots of things to take in and react to it. But going back to the first point when you were saying that we need new projects, we absolutely need new projects. Otherwise, what we're gonna do? We're gonna exchange our PHEX for EHEX and our PLS for PLSX and
send
back
each
and
other
forth.
value back and forth. I mean,
yeah, it's like give me that, I give you that. You know, like it doesn't make any sense.
And then you can send it back to me, and then I can send it to Dane, and then Dane can send it to me. I mean, that's all.
Right.
And at the same time, you know, I'm a big fan of Fuchs at the moment, of Fox, because I don't mind splitting my investment and putting a little bit of extra here and there on other horses, and at the same time, I'm generating the money's work for me. That's what I learned, unfortunately, too late at the age of 40.
Passive income.
It's such a stupid way of saying, I'm sorry, to passive income, because nothing is passive. You know, you have to go to your laptop, you know, press the buttons and watch the videos and get to that knowledge and be in these Twitter spaces and stuff like that. So for me, passive income is just like, what do you mean passive? But yeah, the same money working for you. I think that's the best way of saying it. And Richard being narcissistic, and you know, like he has the right to be narcissistic, and has the right to be you know, whatever he wants to be, because he achieved it. You know, he put a lot of effort into to get to the level where he is today. And you know, Buck say things to people which they don't like. Or if you don't like it, you know, you don't have to agree with me. But you know, some people are like, yeah, but you know, it has to be like that. And you know, no, it's sometimes you just have to be straightforward. And I don't really care that how he looks like. You know, I don't see his face, and there's people using this excuse like, oh, he's just using an avatar. So what? You know, like so many people you don't know, and you're still dealing with them or do things. So for me, it's not a biggie at all. The product is working fine. It's seamless. It does the thing. And you know, these two people are standing out from most of us. So let them do what they want to do, you know, because they earned it. It's not like they're coming out and saying, oh yeah, I can do this. Well, can you?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, and that leads to this comment. We talked about this a little bit. I mean, I think this take couldn't be even any more wrong. Because at the end of the day, I mean, think about it seriously. Like, who is coming to build on Pulse Chain that's not an insider? Like, who has money that's coming over here to build if you weren't in the Richard Heart ecosystem? With how maximalist a lot of these guys are, with how toxic some of them are, who is coming to build right now? Well, if you're not an insider, you're not coming to build.
It's community.
Yeah. It's community. It's community driven. It's always been that way. Yeah. And so, you know, to say that, you know, it should just be people coming over that have money and funding their own projects, that's just not, I don't see how that makes any sense at all. That's not how business works in general. You know, how many new products are created every single day.
It's the same like stock market. The Tesla is giving out shares. You know, that's how they're raising money to keep reinvesting in the business. You know, it's
yeah. And new businesses and products get funding every single day. Does that make them a bad product? No, that's foolishness. This is a bad point to be able to use to be able to discern what's a good thing and what's not.
Yeah, we can't use that as an umbrella comment, but I will agree there will be certain protocols, blockchain trends. There will be certain protocols that will do just that. They will take them, and you just as an investor,
unavoidable. Yeah,
you as an investor have to learn. It's your money. How to you know, do your own due diligence, and you're the investor to get involved and make your decision. You're the big boy that's got to make the decision. There will be bad actors. Don't make no mistake. There is going to be bad actors in the ecosystem. It's just how it is. But that's life. You have the good and the bad. You got the bull and the bear. You got God and the devil. It's just good. You need that, and you're going to have that. It's just nature at its finest. It really is. That's how the universe works. You have to make the decision on where you're putting your money at. But we need it. But we need all of it because we have to have the adoption. That's just. But
this is spot on. Bringing value is key.
And I will agree. I will agree 100%. It's bringing value is key. So you have to go and see, like, you have to make the decision which one of these protocols are going to bring extreme value to the chain. Do they have the capability of bringing extreme value to the chain? And then you invest, you vote. You have to vote. You get to vote who's going to make it and who's not going to make it. And guess how you vote? With your dollars. You vote. You determine who does it. And you're going to have idiots who are going to vote with their dollars with dumb stuff. It's just like, it's just how it works. And we see it in real estate. I mean, we see it everywhere. It's just how the
syndicates, you give your money to a syndicate group who you trust.
And they lose it or they do bad. I mean, it's just like, and some of them don't even do bad by intentionally doing bad. It just happens. The correct operator, or maybe they were a little greener than they had anticipated or sold themselves on, and then maybe you bought the narrative. And so it's like, I mean, it's hard because you need it, but at the same time, you're going to have the bad actors or the ones who are greener and who are just more ignorant, who want to build a business, and they're using your dollars as a kind of like Dane says it all the time. I don't want to be a test dummy with your or I don't know how you verbalize that, but you want to see experience from that operator. You don't want to be the test dummy, and so it's, man, and you're going to learn as an investor. Guess what? You're in the space of investing. This is where you're at. If you can't handle the space of investing, I mean, crypto's not the space to be in if you're not an investor.
And if you think about it, how much easier is our life compared to like the previous cycles? I'm not sure what your experience with crypto is, but for me it was like, you get into it, you talk to certain individuals in your circles, then you go on Twitter, then you watch a couple of YouTube videos, and then you watch a fat guy, telling you buy this coin because that's going to be the best 1000x. And then, like, oh, you go on the computer, oh, yeah, I should buy this one. And then for 2 days, it's like, wow, I'm genius, like it did like 40% or like it doubled, how wow, I'm so great. Now, compared to that, now we are in much more privileged and luckier position to have people like you guys, or K4K Crypto, or so many guys out there who can, or Randy Hilarski, teach us, and tell us, and then be part of these discussions, and then narrowing it down, all those options and possibilities. And after that, you're still gonna have, like, let's say 20% of a black horse, in your bets, but the other 8 is gonna fly and it's gonna be nice. So
you're gonna make wrong decisions. Yeah, it's just even when you've done all your due diligence and gone through all the steps, you're still gonna pick one.
It's unavoidable,
it's unavoidable, especially in this tech world we call crypto. It's like man, we got one of my favorite guys on.
Yeah, I did.
I was just spamming the chat, so sorry about that, guys. And I always come out with, and I know that my point of view always comes out kind of negative when I come up with the building.
I always see your point. Like, I always know, like, you have good intention, and you do make some very strong points that are very correct.
Yeah, I mean, like,
not negative, but realistic.
You guys, yeah, if you guys, like, the second you mentioned it, you said the key word in my mind, it was value. I think that a lot of people focus on, how much we're going to put into the sacrifice, or how much we're going to put on this and that. And I was like, no, that's your price. You don't want to focus on that. Focus on the value. And I think you guys got it. I right away, I go like, no, don't build with our money. Like, but I agree with you guys. Like, we need all the platforms. We need more DEX. We need more layer ones. I don't think people even talk about this. We need more layer ones to actually hit it. And yeah, because it's just, I always go with, we're competing with Visa and MasterCard. We're not like just, you know what I mean? It's what you said. We're not here just to like swap, one coin for the other. We're not going nowhere that way.
I could just sit and gain money, and then he'd be just fine.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, Dan, can I have that money back?
Yeah, exactly. Like, the only like issue that I always give, it's when I say about the faceless avatars and all that stuff, it's just because back 2020 we were kind of focused through year one that anyone in the community that would talk in public and would quote unquote represent the community or show up in our lives would show their face, and that's the only reason that I mention it. You know, he'll have his reasons to
Oh yeah,
you know not and keep
to
his
your
privacy.
to your argument, I have seen you call out a couple different protocols that on your YouTube that have been a little bit more disingenuous or have bad intentions. I've seen it. You've kind of pre-called it before stuff happened, and there's bad actors and there's any good actors.
Yeah. I focus on what you guys were saying about value, and it's like I noticed that some protocols were getting, you know, sure, like if we can throw $1 billion and we're going to get 10, then let's do it. But if we're going to throw $1 million to get a couple pennies, then probably not. So that's about my point of view. Like if it's with our money, and then it's going to bring us 2, 3, 4x, whatever X is, and then it's going to bring in more adoption from other communities. Like, let's go for it. I mean, like right now, it's actually the time frame that I had set for myself that I was going to start, quote unquote, pushing other products or shilling products that were already functioning in our network. You know, because I thought, let's wait at least 90 days. You know, we make sure that everything is there, is ready. We can offer it, our product or in our case now, our project, to people outside of the community, and then let's just go. That was, I guess, like my only issue at the start. It was that we were so focused, even more than a year ago, into the layer 2s or the other products or the dApps or anything that was going to be built on top of Pulse Chain. And I was like, guys, I think we should get at least, let's make sure that the thing is rock and rolling first. And once Pulse Chain is running, let's push everything. We're going to need loans. We're going to need leverage platforms. We're going to need all these products because, let's be honest, guys, we're trying to compete with the big guys. And I think there's some regulation being talked this week that I'm super pumped about, because I think there's two. Oh, brother, I think that
I think I saw
it's just it hasn't passed yet. Yeah, it hasn't passed. So I don't like kind of talking about it just yet, because you know how the politicians are, where they kind of say something today and then tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. So once it's signed and delivered, yeah, but.
That's awesome. You guys, can you do me a favor and hit the likes and hit the bell notification? We have a little attendance today. I think it's because we have the buck check going on, so that's completely understandable. But help us out. Hit the likes and hit the subscribe button to help boost the algorithm.
Yeah, but like I think once those are two, because it's two separate proposals that are coming in under the same one. So you know how they stack them all together, and I think that one of them is going to give obviously very much a lot of powers to the banks, you know, because they're going to be accessing the stablecoin payments at the same time that they don't have reserves, at the same time that they don't have gold backings, at the same time that they do money rehypothecation and all this stuff. So I know that part is really bad. So we're gonna just keep focus on them to make sure that they don't do bad. You know, they don't become worse actors than they already are. But the good one is this one being proposed by Senator. His name is Warren Davidson, and in my opinion, and I've been in crypto for a minute, this is the most important bill pro crypto that we've ever seen, because it's gonna give the first time ever a bill, a law that says, hey, if you're holding your keys, if you're holding your coins, there's not going to be a federal agency that's going to come after you. Whoa. So obviously, if you're in a centralized exchange, you know, it's going to be the same thing. If they go bankrupt, blah, 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 it's not your keys, not your money. But if you own your own keys, you own your own bank. So again, it's not passed yet. It's just a little, but it seems like they're all talking about it. And in my opinion, what the powers that be are getting is that one, meaning the stablecoin one, meaning the powers for the banks to get access to stablecoin payments. But then it looks like we're getting this. And in my opinion, I mean, I feel bad for the average person, the person that's suffering, you know, day to day with a paycheck, and they're going to be in a bad situation, because the stablecoins are going to allow the banks to just, I mean, again, if they don't have reserves, they're not going to be connected to the credit system, because obviously they can do however much money they want or little money they want. So they can inflate, deflate, debase the currency however they want. But us in our side, I mean, we're going to be in our little crypto bubble, in our little DeFi bubble. I mean, I'm super pumped. So what I think we need to do now is just wake more people up, bring them into our DeFi world, and then at least it looks like everything's lining up.
Agreed. Is that the? Are you referring to the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act? Have you seen this one?
Sorry, can you repeat that, Dane?
Yeah, apparently it's called the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act.
Ooh, I haven't heard that one. No.
So this one looks really bullish as well. So this is Tom Emmer. He seems pretty positive crypto, and he's in the Senate. Is he a senator, I believe, or a congressperson?
Asked, is he a senator, congressman, or
he's one of the two, if I'm not mistaken. And they have a nonpartisan bill that they've come out with, and essentially he goes on. He talks about how builders in the United States, at least, there's not any certainty around what they can build. And to ID's credit,
Yes.
he talked about how funds can be raised and how like the common person may or may not be able to participate in things. And so they're leading the charge here by saying, hey, we need certainty here. And so instead of giving opinions, or the SEC has changed opinions time and time again, what they're lobbying for is to establish statutes that will set precedents where it can be very clear about, hey, if you want to be a blockchain entrepreneur and build things, well, this is the framework that we want to see in the United States for United States residents to participate. So this is really bullish. I like this a lot.
That's awesome. I know that like the one that they approved back in November of 2021, and it was basically a small, tiny, just proposal introduced into the infrastructure IIJA, Investment in Infrastructure Jobs Act. So it was approved in November 2021. That one gave them so much power because they just kind of said, yeah, any, and they started using all this very lazy vocabulary that just applies to everything. And it got to a point that, yeah, especially for anyone developing in the US, it was just like they could just go after you because you built something and someone used it for something completely, different to your original idea. So yeah, I'm glad that all this stuff is kind of getting fixed right now, ready for the start of the bull. So I'm
it's
pumped.
funny how that works.
And you called it, to your credit. I think it was a few months ago you came on, and you're like, man, I hope that they figure this out before January next year. And here we are a few months later, looking like they're starting to figure it out. So I'm really excited also.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. It looks like they are figuring it out. So hopefully they will. I've been following this thing and the way it's been developing probably since the first bill that they approved in 2014. When I was the same dude protesting because I was like, why are they making them a property? Why not? Like, come on, guys, don't be lazy. Like, just create something new. It's almost like it felt like they were like, all right, so how do we put Bitcoin in this little square pegs that we have over here? And then I thought that they could have done something nicer back then. Then in 2017, it was the same thing. They could have done something big, and then they just removed the Litecoin exchange, which it was like, what? So yeah. It always feels that way, that they're kind of lazy. And even in that proposal at the end of 2021, I actually signed. It was a bill. I'm sorry, it was an original bill, and then it was signed as law. So now this is what we needed, all these new changes before January 1st, because if not, the thing that they approved that in November 2021, that was going to take effect. And then I kept saying it was not going to affect DeFi whatsoever, but it was going to be like a vacuum, because all of a sudden, people that wanted to build in the US, they were going to be like, all right, well, I'm not going to want to risk getting arrested. So I'm just going to go somewhere else. And then people with big money, they were going to probably do the same. They'll be like, all right, well, I'll pay taxes somewhere else, or I'll just renounce my citizenship, go to Puerto Rico, anything but stay local and then pump the local, the US economy. So I'm very excited. I really think that by next Wednesday, this thing is going to get, go everywhere. Like right now, it's just like a quick little proposal, but it's so rare because it looks like it's coming from the powers that be. You know what I mean? It's like they won that stablecoin one. So they're just like, let's give them this little, you know what I mean? Because that's what the mainstream media is going to talk. Oh, this is going to be a big crypto bill for stakers and this and DeFi and blah, blah, blah. But they're not going to, I don't think they're going to talk much about the stablecoin part, because that's what basically gives them the powers to use a CBDC type currency. It's just we have to understand the CBDCs. It was thrown out there like almost like it was again like a little this is the CBDC is a square right here. No, they can use a stablecoin payment system just as well, because if they have the players, meaning the GSIB banks, the top 8 banks that they agree to everything, then they have the brokers, meaning Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, all of them agree to the same, OFAC compliance, OFAC reports, suspicious activity reports, anything that goes through FinCEN, FINRA. So yeah, they all agree, and then if they can print as much as these stablecoins as they want, or they can remove them as they need to, if they need to, inflate, deflate, debase, and obviously censor and restrict in other cases, because you're gonna be in a case where like they give money to. I mean, I was seeing it yesterday. Some people from Pentagon going to other countries and then kind of saying, "Oh, we're going to give them these like $9 million." And I mean, the guy kind of laughed. I really felt that he was like laughing, because you could tell he's like, "Oh yeah, we're going to do like this $9 million that we just like printed from our computer here like 3 minutes ago." So you know what I mean? That's the only issue that I have with that. But again, I feel worse for the average person, because us in crypto, especially if we're getting paid in coins outside of the, the whole thing, like we're getting paid outside of the fiat world. But they're going to keep getting paid in the same fiat, not getting raises, not learning about, not getting property, so I guess that's our new mission, just be like, all right, well, we finally got a clear law that is going to get passed, and it's going to say, all right, we're not going to go after your coins. And what I think that's going to do is going to create a new wave of stakers or hodlers, because they're not going to be afraid that, oh yeah, next week they can make all this stuff illegal and then I lose all my savings, So I think that's going to be huge.
Onboarding perspective too. Yeah, if we're able to point and say like, oh, look at this thing, how these activities are, it's clearly approved. That's really bullish. That'll help a lot.
Sir.
Yeah. 0x post for me when I heard the news that in the US and the UK they are making really good progress. For me, that was like one of the I was like, okay, we are getting somewhere for sure.
Yep. Yeah. Well, guys, I'm gonna skip out because I wanted to talk to you real quick at lunch, and like I went to. All right, guys, have a great one. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks for popping in.
Thank you,
Have a great one, guys.
See ya.
Take care.
Cool. So I want to get your guys' takes, and I think that, so here's my take, and I want to see if you guys agree or disagree or have additional context to this. We talked about a little bit on our show yesterday how there's good timing and there's great timing for marketing and when to push things and whatnot. And right now, like ID just nailed down at least the U.S. government. Of course, we understand that crypto is worldwide, but specifically the U.S. government is trying to nail down how they want crypto to work in the United States. The Federal Reserve is still raising interest rates. The market as a whole is not bullish right now. No. But that being said, I don't think we're that far away. I think next year is when things turn around.
You can see the light at the end of the tunnel now.
Yeah,
now,
exactly. Right.
Now you can. Before you couldn't. Now it's
thank God for looking forward to Pulse Chain, because man, the last couple of years, if there wasn't that to look forward to, and you're just sitting here.
Then what else we would do? Phantom or Avalanche or BNB.
At some point. Yeah.
Or rolling the dice on PancakeSwap. Oh, is it gonna be the good one?
Right. So I think that it's a Buck phrased it as like a dangerous game that Richard is playing right now, where he's largely MIA, right? There's some tweeting, but we haven't seen him otherwise. It'll be really interesting to see what his little blurb is that'll be attached to the documentary that's coming out next weekend. He's going to have a little intro. So I'm curious to see what that looks like. But man, I think that Richard's going to come back next year. I think that we'll see things start to turn around. I think Richard will say, okay, now I'm ready to come back. I think frankly he's a little bit exhausted. He's got Pulse Chain.
Wouldn't you?
Now. He's got Pulse X. Oh, I'd be exhausted. All these people in the community talking crazy things about Richard this whole time, and the Fudsters saying he wasn't going to come out with Pulse Chain. Well, he's come out with Pulse Chain. He's come out with Pulse X. Hex is there. Everyone got their free copies. I don't think this is the worst time to like take a breather, to take a step away. And I think next year is the time to really go. So
it's an opportune time
to come back then.
And then you can be there for your devs when you need to update and do things. You can work in the background, making sure everything is working right. I mean, this is the perfect time. Once again, remember, the bear market's for building,
right?
The bull market's for marketing and selling. That's it. The bear is for building and accumulation. If you're a dev, it's for building. If you're an investor, it's for accumulation. And for bull market, for devs, it's for marketing. And for us, it will be selling.
Right. It's true. Would you agree with that, Norbert? Anything you want to
add? Well, he built a great thing here, and he provided the platform for us to build. He built a foundation for this entire ecosystem. So now it's up to us, what we're gonna make out of it. We can't expect one guy to do everything. Give me the yield, and then give me another product, and then when you're done with that one, it's like no expectations.
Can you please stream 24 hours a day and promote?
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Take my blood as well. Why not?
Right. Oh my gosh!
But the thing, I'm not sure. Probably you're moving in different circles than myself. But the way how I see things is that I talk to a lot of everyday guys like myself. Uber drivers or builders or whatever.
The eating guys.
Yeah. I love apples. That's for sure. And probably what I see it could happen, if anything gonna line well, that when I talk to people, I ask them, oh, hey, what's going on with your life? What's happening? And the guy is telling me, Uber driver, very simple example, but you're gonna understand my point. He says, they changed the system again, and now we are self-employed, but we're getting paid a minimum wage hourly rate, and they still want us to get the insurance, to pay for the car rental, or maintain the car and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, how are you doing this? It doesn't make any sense financially. Why are you doing this? I said, well, it's two options. Number one is they selling the dream of flexibility. You can just log in the app, you go out and work, and then you stop, and then you can be with your family, and which is true. But if I'm not making enough money, what's the point of doing that?
He made a little bit. You're a slave to it.
Yeah. And he made a little bit of calculation, and he was telling me that he needs to work, I don't know, like over 60 hours to provide for the family and stuff like that. I'm like, dude, I like you a lot, but please try to change something here, because what you come up with and what you're trying to do is not working. And you admitted as well, so you see it clearly, it's not working. So he's thinking of moving to another profession. I said to him, once the things are settled for you, pick a number, 10% of your monthly income, 15% or 5%, whatever you're comfortable with. Keep putting that money, keep investing it. If I may suggest, invest it in crypto, because that has the highest potential, highest appreciating asset. If you want something less risky, but stock market can be risky as well, as we've seen, Google, Peloton, and so on. So they can drop too in large numbers. But just keep investing and keep make your money work for you. So if this documentary will go out, it's gonna be down to the individual and us as well. How are we gonna represent this message to the people, saying like, you're not gonna have a Lambo, that's for sure. I can tell you that right now. Yeah, you're not gonna have a Lambo, but is a good example that someone started, let's say here, and achieve like really, really high levels financially, and the fame and everything. You could be the guy who starts, down to your category, and then keep building. And, then you're going to have the financial reward at some point, but then do it the right way. Don't invest in meme coins, only invest as much as you can afford to lose. Just keep the basics. If you do that, then you're going to be much better off what you are right now. But you have to put the effort in, and you have to attend, these video recordings, what we're doing, the Twitter spaces, and then just learn every day a little bit, brick by brick, build your house, build your foundation. So
yeah,
that's I can add to this.
That's great. No, I agree with you 100%. Yeah, really excited about the OX Coast guys and what they're building. Man, yeah, I mean, we've been having problems with onboards not being able to bridge money in because the Coinbase accounts have been shut down, Kraken accounts have been shut down. I mean, Trust Token is, or at least they weren't operational before. Do you have updates?
I got news for them. I have a meeting with them. I got a scheduled meeting with them, a Zoom meeting. They're no longer operational with the Arch or the other who was it? Prime, or whatever. And so they have banks now outside the US they're operating from, but they can still mint you stable coins. The TUSD. The TUSD was separate, and it was a relationship they were having here in the United States because they're also in Europe. They're in Europe and Australia. They're in multiple countries. Okay. They had certain relationships with certain banks here. And so they had shifted, I think, their relationships. And I have a meeting with them coming up, and I'll fill you guys in. And this is, United States specific on how we can still mint TUSD here. And obviously, OX Coast is going to be a very similar product to the Trust Token guys. That would be a direct on-ramp to Pulse Chain versus going to Ethereum, like a Trust Token, you go into Ethereum, and you got to bridge over, and then you got to pay the extra fee. OX Coast will be direct. Now, OX Coast will also have their fee, but I know you can knock the fee down by holding and staking the weight token. I don't know all the tokenomics behind that yet, and we'll be keeping our thumb on the pulse on that, literally, on both things. So.
Yep.
Oh, man, we got a special guest today, bro. We got a special guest.
Yes. How's it going?
What's up, bro? Man, thank you for blessing me.
Sorry I'm late.
I
was in the Buck space listening to them talk.
I still have it on.
I saw you in there, and I'm like, but he said it shows at 9. So I came back and I checked your channel at 9, and I was like, you know what? He's still in the Buck space. So maybe he's not going for another hour. And then I came in I'm like, oh shit, he's been going on for like 45 minutes.
Yeah. We even started late because of the Buck space. I tuned in as soon as he came on, but I was like, man, let's go ahead and do a stream today, because otherwise sometimes these go, bro, like 6 to 8 hours. Like they go like which I love that. I love that I'm able to tune in later in the day and can get some commentary, and it's entertaining, and I learn something. I'll always learn something. And so it's a great, he puts on some of the best spaces.
Yeah. I really like B Roots in there earlier today.
I did too, man. And a lot of people FUD on him, and they don't like him because he does play his own little game, and that's fine. He's whatever, right? But man, when you actually have an intelligent conversation with the guy, he speaks very intellectual, and he knows his shit.
He really gets it.
Yeah, he gets it. Yeah.
That's like the best way to put it, is he gets it.
Yeah, and it's so many people that don't. And I feel like he's even more experienced than Buck in the crypto world, even though Buck gets it a lot more like on the TradeFi and finances. Like, he understands money really well. But I mean, B Roots, man, he's just an OG in the space. Kind of like yourself. I know you're kind of an OG in the space, man. You're an OG Bitcoiner, aren't you?
I mean, I guess so. I got in at the end of 2013. I got in a month before the 2013 bull run of Bitcoin. The one that really got everyone's first attention, when it ran from like $300 to $1,200 and then dropped back down. So yeah,
give give us your take on what you think's going on with Richard, and
this would be good.
kind of how he's done things with Pulse Chain launch.
It's all complete speculation.
Right.
I have no idea. I mean, hey Richard, can I tell him? That's no, but I got some, I think, insight from the Matty Allen stream maybe like 1 or 2 days ago. He was interviewing the directors of the highest of stakes, right? And I forget the exact question that he asked them, but they basically said, we can't say anything about that via NDAs, or like it's going to like we know like inside information, so we can't answer that particular question. Man, I wish I could remember what the question was, but it basically led to them saying Richard Hart has a strategy for everything. Like everything is planned out and strategic, because Matty was like, do you think he has a strategy to do this, or, and then the director cut him off and said, what do you mean, or? It's like, no, what is the strategy? Like, trust me, like he is strategic sizing everything.
He's got a business plan. He's an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just like everything to me, in my opinion, is going to plan. It's going to plan, because you got to remember that when the sacrifices happened, like Richard had a bit of a track record. I mean, look how much money got generated for the sacrifices. Do you think everyone that sacrificed were just like, oh, RH dick riders? No, there's a lot of people fucking hate Richard Hart that sacrificed, but they knew he was going to perform. They knew he was going to perform, and then they get in their mind, you know what I'm going to do when Pulse Chain does a 10x at launch? I'm going to dump that shit and show up Richard Hart. And guess what? They didn't get that 10x at launch, and quite honestly, like everyone thought it was coming, and they just didn't get it. Now these guys are getting probably super frustrated, and in my opinion, the more competition that comes onto the Pulse Chain, like just, I'm not going to say like 9 inch is a bad chain or nothing like that. I want people to get into 9 inch, because in my opinion, we're getting rid of the weak hands. We're going to, in my opinion, when people go and like take their money and they go into these other products, it's the same thing as basically dumping the bottoms or capitulating. And I think then the real price will skyrocket in a few more months. I think there is a strategy to everything. Now, maybe not everything is 4D underwater universal chess. You know what I mean?
4D chess.
Yeah. But I think he has a strategy. Like if I were the OA, if I were to take the sacrifice money, what was I thinking about? What would I do? It was basically I can't remember the exact strategy offhand, but it's just
you have options. When you have that kind of wealth in your hand, you have options. And when people are saying like, oh, you see, this incentive token is gonna be useless, do you really think that the guy who is creating one of the best layer one and then one of the best financial product with Hex is going to create something which has the lifeblood in incentive token that is going to fail. If you're thinking that, you're like, you should go back to like the drawing board and then start thinking again, like what is really happening here. I don't think that the incentive token is going to be a failure or is going to lose value a lot, because then, like, right now we have the system working and is doing the thing. But as Corey was saying earlier, and you Brice as well, that once we have these new project coming on, it's gonna be another market. It's like in real life, it's gonna be another mechanic around the corner. It's gonna be another market down the road. So and people are not gonna go to the same place always again and again and again. They're gonna be like, oh, okay, and that's when adoption is gonna come in, because if they see right now that, okay, this PulseX is 4 farms, this is how we are as humans, with so many inputs is bombing us every day. As soon as you open the door and step out of your house, is a lot of emotions and inputs bombing you. So we need more than just 4 farms. So we need like different games and different options. So yeah, I think the future is really, really bright.
Yeah, to kind of go back to your point, I heard on the Buck space, Buck is very bearish. He's like, I think Richard Hart might not come back, and I think the things are way overvalued, and my stuff is way undervalued. And I'm just kind of sitting here thinking, if you guys truly believe that Richard Hart is sitting on like $600 million to $1 billion worth of stable coins, and he's just gonna let PulseX and PulseChain die on the vine and let someone like Buck take over this entire space, I'm sorry, guys, you're out of your mind. I'm a permabull, but it's just like I got, it's like, look at all, dude. He's sitting on like $600 million of stable coins. You think he's just gonna like not help out the system? Like, come on, guys.
Come on.
It's just, we gotta more or less. He doesn't want to reward all the people who hate Sacked.
There's a lot of them too. I was in private groups. I got invited to these. I have good ways of interrogating groups, and I was in backroom Telegram channels. And there was one group that was created, and that's all it was. It was a group of RH haters that all sat. I was like, and they would all FUD every day. And then like I remember when the protocol launched, when PulseChain launched, I knew we were having our first dip, like when it really dipped and it went below SAC. I knew that was happening because they were in there bragging about it and posting charts already. I was like, what the heck? And I went into my computer and I logged out, like, holy crap. I started buying. I'm like, thanks, guys. I started buying because they were bragging about dumping the chart. They were bragging about it already. It was just funny, dude. I'm just like, what? There's people like that, they live like this?
Yeah, no, I saw someone yesterday. They're like, bragging about, selling PulseX on day 1 or something, and maybe that was the right move at the time. But unless you buy back in and then it goes up, like, all you did was sell, and now you're sitting on either stables, which is like, government
is doing what? Yeah, it's just losing value anyway. So
yeah, that's just losing value year over year, anyways. So I don't know. I'm a permabull on the RH stuff, and I just, I hate all the negativity in the space. I just wish everyone could kind of lift everyone up. I'm all for all the builders, but I just hate how some of the builders have to tear down other stuff to make their stuff look good. Yeah, but you know what? Hey, that might be the atmosphere that Richard himself created by being kind of a jerk during, his live streams.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. He would tear down Bitcoin and Bitcoiners.
yeah,
But if you look at the products what he created so far, I don't think that the success of Pulse Chain and Hex is strongly correlated to Richard, because it's an immutable contract. He created a financial product with no human interaction. No one needs to do anything anymore with it from outside. Just go on the platform, go.hex.com, click on the stake button, and then there you go. How much I want to do? How do I want to do? How many I want? Do I want 6 months, 1 year? So
100%
of course,
agree. I
of course, it
100%
is
agree with you.
nice to see him talking about things. But if you missing this main point, then you're missing the point, because he created the product that there's no human interaction needed, and he even said it before. I created the platform. Now I would like you to build. That's how Mintra got into the picture, because they had with Gerardo a conversation, one of the streams, and he just said one sentence to him: "Why don't you build one?" And then Gerardo was like, yeah, that's a really good point. Okay, let me go and build one. So
yeah, I can't wait for Mintra to come out.
I know, I'm an investor.
Nice.
Me too, with a little bit, with my with my waist pack.
Yeah.
Now, 100% agree with you that we do not need Richard for all this stuff to be successful. But it sure does help. And but I also don't think Richard. This is Richard's, his baby. This is his legacy. He's not going to let this stuff, die and just like become, ETH fair. It's just, that's not a possibility in my mind. And
and it's also the part of the, in my opinion, if you want to bring it to like a larger levels, for me, it's like part of the human evolution. Because if you have options, you look out the market. Yeah, you have Ethereum, working fine, a bit slow and a bit outdated, but still all right. Then you have Phantom and Avalanche and BNB and la-di-da. If you have all these options and you don't see the positive sides of the Pulse Chain, the Hex, and then the people who are really, really genuine in the Hex community, like that's how I love to be here instead of doing something else. So that's why I love to watch other streamers and learn another thing, because genuinity, honesty, like is the main selling points of the Hex community and the Pulse Chain and Pulse Hex community, compared to like other things when you have like a lot of gambling and a lot of facelift things, a lot of pump and dumps like on the Binance and whatever chains. So we have to come to a realization that, okay, so this is where the good stuff happening.
Yeah, I disagree. I think we need Richard, and I think we need him in a big way. I think a lot of people buy Tesla stock because you have Elon. Yeah. I think there's so many people that buy Tesla because of Elon. I think that you buy Hex because of Richard right now. Like, frankly, and I'll speak for myself, like, I think the T-share thing is a fun narrative. But if it's not for Richard, like, there's a million other things that lots of people would buy. I think a lot of people could care less about the T-share. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, great, it's another, like, Bitcoin that throws up. I think a lot of people just don't care about the T-share. I think they care a lot about Richard.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I love T-shares, don't get me wrong, but without buy pressure, my T-shares don't mean shit.
Yeah.
I got to have buy pressure on the other side for my T-shirts to be functional. And Richard does bring that. But at the same time, I think he's doing this very strategically. I think it's very planned. And I think, man, if it works out perfectly, he will wash out enough economic energy now for us, the true believers, to really get the gains that we maybe not the 10,000x, but we gonna get
a 10,000x.
I mean, there's already songs all over Twitter.
Yeah,
or 10,000x.
Right.
Yeah, it's
I don't need a 10,000x, man. I tell you what, I get a 30x, and I'm like, holy shit!
Yeah.
What island am I buying? I've went pretty heavy in the ecosystem, and I have no. That's where my faith is at. I know we're going to do fine. Like that's how I believe. I'm just a dude on the internet, guys. I'm not giving financial advice. This is my thoughts and what I do with my money. And in fact, I've committed so much, I've moved to Puerto Rico. So it's like, it shows you where I'm at. It's
nice. That's awesome. No, I completely agree with you guys. You know, Dane, Corey, I really like your guys' show. I've been listening to it for a little while now, and man, dude, I really feel like the three of us, you know, Norbert, I don't really see you that much other than on these community streams, but Dane and Corey, when I do listen to you guys, I'm just like, I click with everything you guys say, and I feel like we're all on the same page more or less. And yeah, we're gonna be fine. I mean, I'm just fine. Like, I'm not worried. And in fact, you know, the highest of stake directors, when they kind of let out that little bit of alpha, that everything, their strategy, that everything Richard does, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, that was just like the
more
ice
reassurance.
Yeah, it's just like the cherry on top of, you know, my confidence in the system.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go watch that stream. I missed that one.
I do too. I didn't. It was a couple nights ago. My life has been kind of crazy the last week with so much with my move and everything. So I haven't been catching the streamers that I like to catch all the time.
It was about 50 minutes into it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I time stamped it and posted it somewhere, but I'll send it to you again, Corey. It was
send it.
Yeah, fascinating.
I know a lot of you have a lot of same thought processes as we do, and some of our other friends in the community. And I seen you post a tweet on Twitter. I think it was just yesterday. And you're getting hate, and I was like, "Don't hate him. This is like the happiest guy in our community. He's just making an opinion and expression, and it's the same thought process that we have."
Yeah, I'm just like,
it's funny we haven't got a lot of hate for it yet. I feel like we haven't had a lot of. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe
we never led with the maximalism, though. I think that's part.
We never led with the maximalism, yeah. And a lot of these guys who like obviously like Motley, I mean, he spearheaded with a lot of the ideology very early on about the EHEX and PX, and so he caught a lot of the hate. And then he's like, "All right, I'm done with Twitter. Bye, guys. I'll see you later."
Which is a shame, because Motley is a really smart guy.
He is, man. He is.
He brings a lot of like alpha.
Yeah, exactly. He knows markets. He's been in the community for a long time. He understands what's going on, and he's got big bags, and he cares. Like anybody with bags like that, they care. Like they're not in there trying to like FUD. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, Motley is one of the really good community members.
Wendy's too. Wendy's and Dixon Piper, and we get the honor of hanging out with those guys when we're out in Puerto Rico. So it's really cool. They all live out there.
Yep.
Absolutely. You are lucky, Corey. You are lucky.
Man, I just try to avoid some taxes.
Nah, you earned it. You earned it. Sorry, there's no luck. You know the definition. You know the definition of luck, when opportunity meet talent. That's the definition of luck.
Sure. You got to know how to see opportunity.
There's no such a thing as like there's no such a thing like you open your door and like, yes, and now I have wealth, and then now all these people, and they go, oh, look around me, yeah, I'm in Puerto Rico, man. Wow, I'm so lucky. It doesn't happen like that.
Yeah. Even building businesses, man. Everyone sees you when you have all the money, but it's like you have no idea how many lawsuits I had to go through. You had no idea how many employees I had to fire and get in fights with. They don't see all the backroom stuff that that makes you lose sleep at night, and how many times your bank account hit zero, and you had another $100,000 bill next month overhead, and you're like, I need these 5 deals to close or I'm bankrupt, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, yeah, it's they don't see that part. They don't. And they don't see the part with Richard. They don't see all the back behind the scenes of Richard and what's going on and what is going on here. I can't imagine being Richard and the stress in the last like 3 years.
Oh,
I mean, down from Hex all the way to now. It has been one giant FUD, crazy. Like he's been fortunate enough that he's had a lot of success with it, but it comes with its downfall. And no one sees that. No one looks at that and sees that. And that's in every entrepreneur who's successful. It's like that old, you guys see that meme with the iceberg? Like with the iceberg, they see the tip of the iceberg, and this is what everyone sees, but don't see all the stuff that's underwater. But that's the success, and this is all the shit they took. And it's true life, man. It's true life.
I mean, I look at the tiny amount of hate I get for telling people to buy PulseX. And I go, man, dude, I cannot imagine the amount of vitriol that fucking Richard just receives every time he opens up that browser. Just the amount of vomit being spewed.
Oh, it's everywhere. And it's coming out of him every 2 weeks from Sunday, I can imagine.
Quite honestly, like I get so sick of it, and then I just see people within our space doing it, and it just really grates me in the wrong way. I try not to get, too bent out of shape about it, but it is what it is, and I just like to promote Richard Hart and his stuff. Everyone calls me a maxi about everything. I'm like, all the hexagons called me a Bitcoin maxi.
Yeah, don't you still own Bitcoin though?
I did buy a bit. I sacrificed all of my Bitcoin for the Pulse Chain sacrifice. Right? Ooh. I was like,
that could have been a pretty heavy.
It was at $30,000 each. I'm like, dude, there's no way Bitcoin at 30,000 is going to outperform like this brand new layer one. There's just no way. So I'm like, I'm going to sacrifice all of them.
He saw the opportunity,
and then like Bitcoin went up to like 70,000. I'm like, and Pulse Chain was not launched. I'm like, hey Richard, I think we can get at least 2 to 3x. But then it crashed all the way down, and it was at it hit 15K.
15, yeah.
I ended up buying back one whole Bitcoin at 16,000 because I was just like, you know what? I need assurance. I need the Bitcoin is my insurance on the whole crypto space, just in case like the Richard Hart stuff doesn't work out. I'm pretty sure Bitcoin is going to work out just because, I see the whole Wall Street space.
Yeah.
So I bought back one Bitcoin at 16,000. I'm up like 100% on that investment.
Bitcoin has a function. Bitcoin has a function too. It should be anyone's portfolio once they reach like the 5 figures. Let's say, after your first 5 figure, you should start to accumulate a little bit of Bitcoin on the side and be part of your portfolio for the rainy days.
I mean, my portfolio is well over 5 figures, and I have no Bitcoin. I mean, I have a little bit that somebody paid us with. Like they paid me in Bitcoin. They're like, you have Bitcoin? I'm like, I have a wallet. I have my Trezor. You could choose Bitcoin. I was like, yeah, send it to me. Whatever. That's why I got Bitcoin.
Whatever.
I have never bought it, and I don't know if I might. Maybe I will one day. I don't know, but I have no interest in.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I mean, there's so much better opportunities now in this space. To me, I'm like Bitcoin's kind of a for sure thing, but it's going to be
it's a store of value. Yeah,
it's you're not going to get very great gains out of it. You're not going to get rich off of Bitcoin. In my opinion, there's like maybe another 20x out of it.
Yeah, so maybe if you have $1 million and you want to try to amplify that to $10 million over a time span, you might
like a part of your retirement plan or whatever, like a plan Z, let's say.
Yeah, you might probably do that with Bitcoin. That's but then I'm like, well, I can go into Ethereum and probably get like double what Bitcoin will do.
Yeah.
I don't think Ethereum's going anywhere. I really don't.
Totally. I mean, I think Ethereum should be more valuable than Bitcoin, in my opinion.
It offers more value to the marketplace.
Yeah.
More functions.
So, but until that day happens, Bitcoin is king, and everyone on Wall Street is buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. and
nation states. Again,
and it's also the face of the whole crypto market. You go to any country and you mention Bitcoin and you say, hey, I have some Bitcoin, someone's gonna buy it off from you. That's for sure.
You say, hey, yeah.
Can I say the same thing about certain other cryptos? Probably not.
Everyone thinks Bitcoin is. I'll go to some place and like, yeah, I'm in the crypto or what. And oh, you own Bitcoin. Like it's almost automatic. It's like, oh, you do Bitcoin. I'm like, no, there's other cryptos.
This is how early we are. That's the good thing. This is how early we are. Like the people just know like a few coins, XRP, Gala, and Litecoin and whatever. Yeah, and that's it.
It's the common.
Yep, absolutely.
But with the success of Bitcoin will come the success of all the there really is a trickle down tokenomics in this crypto space. The whole Hart's Law stuff, everything gets kind of dragged up and down. I mean, whenever I see like a real down day in Hex, I just go to the coin ranking sites and I just go, oh yeah, of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum are down. So, yeah. I mean, it's like you can really track them pretty well. What's up, Paul?
Paul Sachs, you're coming on right when we're ending. We got to end it up in here in about 2 minutes.
Right. Oh, sorry. I had the thing playing in the background.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on?
Good to see you,
How you doing?
Oh, all right. I was going to put in the chat, but I figured I'd just hop on here. I just got home. Nah, Bitcoin's what's going to the nursing home. I mean, it's around, but it's the equivalent of a 401k or a pension fund at this point. Not even a 401k.
It's going to the nursing home.
Well, I love it. I'll give you my very brief moon boy of where I think Bitcoin's going, and then you can just like the rest of the market will follow it. And basically the way I kind of see the whole Bitcoin plan was that you had this grassroots going on, and then Wall Street got into it. Now Wall Street owns Bitcoin and Ethereum and crypto space in total. Now I think Wall Street's next plan is to sell it to like 401k managers, get that put into every American's portfolio as like a long-term holder, because they're going to be instant long-term holders and they can't sell without taking a tax implication. So that's gonna make it very scarce, and then they're gonna start selling it to the retail class, and then that's gonna pump up all the portfolios, and that's gonna get even more people into it, and then eventually they're gonna go to the nation states, and they're gonna be like, hey man, you need to get some of this as a strategic reserve, and so. America's going to be like, all right, give us like, $40 billion worth. And then other countries are going to be like, we need a little bit. And it's just going to, and that's just kind of the way I see it happening, is that it's going to be worth millions of dollars each eventually. But there's a long-term plan going on. And then the rest of that money trickles down into the rest of all the other cryptos.
I'll make a counter to that.
Okay.
Because it's happened twice before. I mean, it's the same thing of what's devaluing or what's eroding the dollars. None of us trust in it. Everybody's losing trust. I mean, they've somehow stabilized the gas prices, so everybody's not in sticker shock there. But every time we go to the grocery store, we're like, I paid $130 last week. I got the same list in my hand, and it's $150 this week. What the hell? They can't stop that. So the trust is losing the dollar. The trust right now is in Bitcoin to an extent, but if it has another one of the bugs, if they break it, it's going to erode to an extent. I think long term though, it'll have so much adoption that it'll just because it's kind of it can go back to that gold narrative.
I think it's basically the new gold. It will be like the new gold for the major players. I mean, like BlackRock is getting into it right now, right? Fidelity is getting into it. I mean,
because they realized that even in the UK, I'm not sure if you remember let's say a few months ago when the sorry Corey, I know you have to go. Maybe we can discuss it another time. But when they realized that the pension funds were buying a lot of these government bonds and stuff like that, and then the interest rate when they raised it, it was much higher than what the yield was generating on these things. They were like, oh shit, the retired people, they want their money, so we have to keep paying them. And then how we can do it? We need to sell the things what we put our money on as a bets. But then, when you put it back on the open market, the smart ones realize like, okay, if the interest rate is much higher and then your thing is only generating me that much yield, I'm not going to give you, $1 for $1. I'll give you 80 cents on $1, or in our case, 80p on a pound. And they have to sell it. And it's just like the cataclysmic effect, it was like a domino effect, like, coming down. And then the government had to intervene. The smart guys, the institutions, if they see this, they also hungry for yield, so they need to have something. And I hope that it's gonna be hex.com.
Yeah, the very last thing I'll say about the whole Bitcoin thing, the reason why that I think the governments haven't really totally bought it yet is that it's just still too cheap. They need it to be like $1 million each before they're like buying into it. I mean, there's people with oil money that put $130,000 on their finger just because it looks pretty. You know what I mean? It's like, and Bitcoin's like 30,000. They're like, no, too cheap.
So it'll take effect when we're able to. I mean, crazy to say this, but you start measuring normal stuff you buy in whatever you're denominating in.
That's
so
correct.
If that's Bitcoin or whatnot, that's when people really start attributing trust into it.
But with that said, I'm a Pulse Chain, Richard Hart, ecosystem maximalist.
Fan.
I just got my one Bitcoin because it's my first love. I got to stay true to my roots.
I love it.
It's what got me here to the game. All right, guys.
I still talk to my ex-girlfriends too.
Only when I'm drunk.
Just kidding. Well, thanks for jumping on, guys. We appreciate you. This has been excellent. It's good to have you on, Briz and Paul and Norbert. Appreciate you guys.
Briz, we'll have you back on and we'll do a host show with you. We'd love to hear all your story about crypto and how you got into it, and it would be a fun one. And then we could talk more about Bitcoin. Bitcoin. Paul Sachs said Breeze and his Bitcoin.
Hey, Paul Sachs, I just want to say I've seen you in the chats a lot, but I've never actually seen you before. So, hey, cool meeting you.
Yeah, good.
Nice to meet you, Paul. Nice
meeting you, Norbert. Good seeing y'all.
Smash the like, subscribe, all that stuff on the way out. We're here to pump everybody's bag with that. Have a great day, guys.
All the best. Bye.